Now, just because you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And that is what endometriosis is. And 1 in 10 women suffer from it globally. So it's only right we have that conversation right here on Unscripted today and just have a better understanding. And hopefully we can be more empathetic and in the near future have some solutions. So stay right there. Let the show begin from right here in Radisson Blu in Arboretum. Hi there and welcome to Unscripted. Thank you for making time for us. Today's conversation, I may be smiling, but it's a difficult one. And Tabitha, thank you for coming to the show and being willing to share your story. I know last month was Endometriosis Awareness Month, right? So we're a bit late, but still we're having the conversation just to enlighten people more about the condition, how it affects different people. So today you're here to share your story, yeah? So I know I already said your name, but you can introduce yourself to people at home.
Okay, I'm Tabitha Wairimu Gitau, aka Tabs, Dimo Kamimo.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a mom. I sell cards for a living.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's me.
But today in the capacity to talk about your health journey and your experience with endo. So let's go back to the beginning and when you were diagnosed. When was this? And apparently you're already stage 3. What does that mean? Tell us.
When my symptoms started, endometriosis wasn't well known in Kenya for one.
Okay.
So when we went to the doctors, they put it off as painful menstrual periods.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, yours are just a bit more
exaggerated.
Severe, exaggerated. Some doctors said it's psychosomatic, you're thinking too much about it. Some doctors put me on psychotic pills.
Really?
Yeah, because they were saying it doesn't make sense. How can you have so much pain? And when we do the scans, nothing is being seen. So I went through a number of doctors. Most of them really didn't understand the condition at that time. So I was put through a round of very many medications, mostly pain meds and psychosomatic pain meds.
Okay.
Medications for to...
Because they thought it was all in your head?
Yeah. Wow. Basically. So they zoomed me. It's like it became
mental...
like
Really?
Yeah.
And what did that do to you when you're trying to tell someone you're not feeling well and they tell you, it's like they're telling you, this is what is the problem and you know what the issue is. How was it dealing with that?
It was very frustrating.
Like no one understanding, exactly.
It was very frustrating. Because it's like you've been cut, but the cut can't be seen. So you're telling people, I'm feeling pain here, but no one can see the cut.
The pain.
So every month I'm saying the pain is too much, I can't... that time I was in campus. I couldn't go for classes. If I go for classes, I have to go for jabs before and after. The clinic, they stopped giving me drugs. They said, no, I'm going there for the drugs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So now I used to carry my own.
Yeah.
Immediately, like if it's a month or 2, I start taking my pain meds way before the period started.
Really?
Now after that, they became irregular. I couldn't tell when they'd come. They just came. I just wake up in the morning, I'm having
your
my
period.
pills.
Yeah.
Or I have severe pain, I'm like here sitting with you. I have severe pain. When I go to the loo, my periods have started. And after that, it's 5 days of a lot of pain, no moving, no nothing. They were heavy.
Sorry.
They were really, intense. So basically, that's how it started.
So at what point were you diagnosed and told, indeed, it's endo and this is what you need to do?
Now, I started getting ovarian cysts. And mine were quite big. They couldn't be drained from the outside. So I started being done surgeries to remove the ovarian cysts. One thing about endo is it's a micro thing. It's very small, so it's easily missed if you're not looking for it.
I see.
So doctors, I was done 3 surgeries in like 1.5 years.
What?
And doctors didn't see the endo. They were removing the ovarian cysts, because they used to come, they come on my left ovary. Then after like 4 months, they shift to the right one. After 4 months, they shift to the left one.
And each time the treatment had to be surgery?
So it had to be surgery because they were very big, and there's a risk of bursting, and you know, it's an ovary is a small organ, so when you have something 3 times bigger, it has to come out.
Okay.
So the doctors concluded my main problem was ovarian cysts, and they started treating that with medication.
Okay.
But they kept on recurring. We shifted doctors. The same thing happened. No, during my 5th surgery is when now a doctor said when they're going in, they'll do what is called exploratory laparoscopic surgery.
What does that mean?
They'll go remove the ovary, they go remove the cyst, but explore around the reproductive organ and see exactly what's going on. That's when they saw the endometriosis.
So hearing, one, there's no treatment, you're still in pain, one surgery after another. What's going through your mind and your body, Tabitha? What state does that put you in?
Fear. There's a lot of fear.
Of course.
There's a lot of questions. I'm asking why? Why me? What will I have done? Definitely, I'm not perfect. I've done enough things that were questionable when I was growing up, so I was thinking I'm being punished. There was a lot of self-doubt. There was a lot of blaming going around.
Blaming yourself?
Really blamed myself. I got it into my mind that this was my fault. And
you made the tough decision to go for the surgery to remove your uterus?
No, that one was a bit later.
That was much later?
That was much later.
Before, so how bad did it get for you to get to that point?
I was bleeding for like 20 days in a month. What? Continuously.
And coming to that decision, maybe I can backtrack. You had a son first, yeah? How did that come to be?
God. Let me put it to very simple terms, that was God.
How was the pregnancy?
Because, okay, well, due to the many surgeries I'd had, my reproductive organ had gone through traumatic shock itself. So I tried conceiving and it was very difficult. And I tried for some time and it refused completely. We saw fertility doctors, we saw gynecologists, experts. I was told about IVF, you know, too expensive. Okay. Then the doctors told me where we are right now, we need to remove your ovary and it has to be done now. Wow. And by saying they're removing my ovaries, that's saying basically they're removing any chance of ever getting a biological child. So we thought about it. We thought about the implications and we decided to go to India.
Okay.
My going to India was very funny. I actually made an advertisement.
What do you mean?
I just wrote a story of what I was going through and I sent it to random hospitals in States, South Africa, India. I got responses from various doctors.
And what are you asking? For a solution?
For a solution, any solution. Basically, I was just asking, can anyone help? Is there anyone who knows about endometriosis? Is there anyone who can save my ovaries, basically? So we got a response from a guy in India. He's called Said. He told me he knows a very good surgeon who's very skilled at laparoscopic surgery, and he thinks if there's a doctor who can help me, it's that doctor. We didn't have the money. So my mom said that's not stopping us. We're going to India.
What did you do?
We did a harambe.
Okay.
I went to India. That time I went Unfortunately, at that time, my dad was also unwell.
Oh,
He had prostate cancer. It was at the last stages, and also doctors in Kenya had given up on him.
Man.
So when I was advertising and asking for help for myself, I was also asking for help for him.
Father.
If there's a urologist who thinks he can help him, or at least, because we were being told at this point it's palliative care. We put him in a palliative hospital, and we refused. We said, it can't end like that. So when I went to India, I went with him. We went, both of us. So he went, he was done his own surgery, I was done my own surgery.
Yeah.
When in India, we met Dr. Sagu, very nice doctor. That doctor looked me in the eye and told me if it's the last thing he does, he's going to save even if it's not both my ovaries, he's going to save one. Wow. And if anything happens, I have to go back to India to be done IVF, he'll help me through the process, but he'll make sure I get a kid. We did the surgery. After the surgery, he told me, unfortunately, I couldn't save one of your ovaries and tubes, but one had to go.
But one was saved.
But one was saved. And
we'll take a pause right there. So stick around. We'll be right back. Stay right there. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Now, before the break, Tabitha, you've taken us through a bit of your journey. When you discovered you have endo, the surgeries you had to do, the doctor in India saving at least you had one chance, at least a shot at conceiving and having a child. Maybe you can tell us how you eventually had your miracle baby. How did that happen?
I tried, and I tried, and I tried, and I gave up.
Oh no.
It was a very long, and let's say at the point I got pregnant, I'd already decided down to do the hysterectomy.
Oh, you were done?
Yeah.
Were you in pain?
I was in a lot of pain. The bleeding was crazy. And I was like, maybe it's just not meant to be.
Oh no.
Just say maybe it's just one of those things I'm fighting too much for, and it's not just my cup of tea.
So when did it happen? When you found out, indeed, you are with child? How did you feel?
Started getting pain and bleeding, but it was more of spotting. So I thought it's my periods coming. I went to hospital, Kawaida, to get I usually used to get a tramadol and Buscopan injection.
Okay.
The nurse I got there asked, when was your last period? I was like, mine are very irregular. They just
you
come
can't
and
tell. Yeah.
Is there a chance you may be pregnant? I'm like, no. Do you have a uterus? I'm like, yes, but I'm like 100% sure I can't be pregnant.
Yeah.
She even asked, you don't have a boyfriend or something? I'm like, yeah, but I've been told I can't conceive, at least naturally. She insisted. She's like, because according to your calendar, you're supposed to have had your menses 2 weeks ago. So if you're spotting now, I'd feel bad if I gave you that shot and you're pregnant, because it can affect you, and it can affect your unborn baby. Okay. So she said she can't give me that shot completely.
So you took a test, or what happened?
She insisted I take a test. I did. I took the test. Positive. She told me, Madam, but this thing is positive. I'm like, it can't be. So she said, you'll pay for another test? I'm like, yeah. I did another test. It was positive. I started complaining the tests are faulty. So I started bringing drama.
Like you were not believing?
Like, it's not possible.
Oh, wow.
It is not, as in my mind I knew it was not possible at all. Wow. I shifted, it was at night. We went to another clinic.
Really?
Yeah.
You refused to believe completely?
I refused to believe completely.
Wow. So what gave you the evidence that it is?
the doctor I found at the next clinic told me, do this, let us not give you the injection now. Come in the morning, we try and do an ultrasound. I know it's a bit early, but we'll try and see if there's any chance that you may be pregnant. So I went home, slept soundly, I didn't even think about it. I was like, no, I'm just wasting money for nothing. We went the next day, they checked, they're saying nothing. I'm like, I've been telling you people I can't be pregnant. Then the nurse, then the sonographer was like, Ebu, go back. What's that? There's something behind. Whether the way they said it, there's something trying to hide.
You're kidding. How did you feel when the doctor told you, Tabitha, there's your baby?
I was happy, then I was sad,
Why?
then I was shocked, then I was back to happy. I was like every emotion you can feel. Then I was scared because now it hit me, I'm pregnant and I'm bleeding. Now I'm like, no, the one time it's happening, there's a problem. So I asked her, what's the problem? She's like, you have a slight uterine bleed.
Okay.
But this one can be sorted if you follow blah blah blah, a lot of things. That time I was in Nakuru. So I called my mom. My mom couldn't believe it. She wanted to come to Nax. I'm like, no. Sure. No, it's okay, I'm okay. She's like, no, you're in pain, you're bleeding, let her to kuje. The next day she's calling me. She's Akiwa town. She wanted to board a mat. I'm like, Mom, no. I'll come to Nairobi. I'll just come home. Because now her problem was who'll continue checking, who'll continue with the.
Were you alone?
Okay, at that time I was not alone.
Okay.
But
you had support.
But I didn't have very good support.
Okay.
Yeah.
But your baby's here.
My baby came.
How was the pregnancy?
It was very long, tough.
Okay.
I had to be put on bed rest when I was at week 4.
Only?
Yeah.
So for the whole pregnancy?
I was at bed, asleep, waiting and looking at my tummy.
You're
scared.
How was that like?
It was very scary and frustrating and tiring.
I can imagine.
I watched everything that can be watched.
When you finally met your son, how was that moment for you, Tabitha?
I don't think I can put it into words. It was... I couldn't believe it. Again, my emotions were very confused. I started crying. My daughter is asking, my gyna is asking me, Tabi, what's wrong? Yeah. Are you feeling pain? That time I've been numbed halfway. Because they were shocked, maybe the drugs is wearing off. Are you in pain? Are you feeling anything? I'm like, no, my son. I'm crying. And then to go back, Kiasi, my dad passed away.
Oh, Ole. And
my son is like, I can't say 100% resembling him, maybe 95%. So I actually, you know, when you're done the epidural, you can't move.
Yeah.
So I was just told to move my head, and then my baby was put here.
Okay.
And I looked and I saw my dad's face. I was like, the doctors had to sedate me.
It was difficult.
Yeah.
What can you tell that lady at home who feels like you're feeling? And now she's like, that's what it is. What can you tell her today to sort of empathize with her? And to those who don't know how to, that they're insensitive or they don't understand, what can you tell those two different people before we finish this part?
I'd say one mistake we did was we never researched. We followed what we were being told. That's why we went into surgery after surgery after surgery. We never actually went down and looked and consulted. So I'd say, first of all, it's not the end. It's not the end at all. It's a scary journey. Most people go alone. Most people don't get the support they need because, unfortunately, people don't understand. People will judge you. People will say you're exaggerating your story. Yeah. People will say you're not the only woman who gets her menses. I once lost a job like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There are other women working here and they managed to come to work.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Why not you? You try and explain that, like, it doesn't make sense. They don't even know what that is. And no, that one, And it's not like I got fired. I just quit because I was like, no, I don't have any other choice.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of awareness going around about endometriosis, and it's something that should change. Because unfortunately, it's something that's affecting very many women.
Yeah. Who are silently suffering.
Silently suffering. Silently being mocked by their husbands. Because, like, one of the symptoms of endometriosis is you can't have sexual intercourse. Is very painful. So try explaining that to a man. They'll say unajifanya.
Yeah, you don't want him anymore.
You don't want it. And actually, that's part of how I lost my baby daddy.
Oh, I see. So you're not together anymore?
You're not together. Wow. Among many other reasons. But it's because getting someone who'll understand you, it's very difficult.
I see.
Me, I'd say hanging there, it's not the end of the... People have gone through us. And they've like managed, but most of all, God, if you're not a believer, start believing.
Amen.
Because you can't go through it alone.
You can't. This
is one of those journeys where you're told you need, if you're a Muslim, you need to go deep into religion. If you're you need a very strong belief system because it tears you apart. Emotionally, physically, mentally. You need a support system.
Thank you for sharing. I hope to someone at home this has definitely given you more insight. We'll take a short break, we'll be right back, and get to hear about how Tabitha is doing now. Stay right there. Welcome back. As we finish this part of the show, after all that you went through and then you had your miracle baby, in the midst of whether it's stigma, whether it's being, people don't understand, whether it's judgment, losing people in your life, you still had tough decisions to make. And one of them was deciding to have your uterus removed. How was it coming to that decision? What had happened that you said enough is enough, I don't want this anymore?
That happened after I got my baby, like 2 years afterwards. Those were 2 years of pain,
non-stop,
and pain and pain and pain, and looking for solutions that were not being found. Because we went to like every doctor we will read about or see, or everyone, no one had a solution. I was being given the same remedies and they were not helping.
Yeah.
I was becoming anemic, becoming very weak, lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And I asked myself, the one thing I really wanted was a baby. And I got one.
Yeah.
And now I can't even look after him. What's the point? So one day I just told my mom, I want to be done a hysterectomy.
What did she say?
She fought it. She said, no, we haven't tried. We tried this, we tried this, we tried that. But I was very like, me, if I say something, I've decided. Because I don't decide things easily. I'll have thought about it, I'd have prayed about it.
Yeah.
I'd have asked, I'd have done my research, and I told her there's nothing more that can be done. So now getting a doctor to do the hysterectomy was one of our biggest problems.
How come?
My age.
Really?
Yeah.
They're saying you're too young. They were
Yeah.
refusing.
And they kept on saying something more can be done. Maybe you can get another kid. But he once wanted to do a hysterectomy and he didn't. You got a kid, you're giving up. But I was like, we have to look for a doctor who's willing to do that hysterectomy. And we found one and it was done.
How was it after it was done? As much as you can decide before, but it was actually done. How did you feel about it?
I felt lost.
Yeah? How so?
You know, the way people say a woman is not her parts, it's a lie. You are who you are because of what you are and what you have. And it finally hit me. I've actually lost a chance of ever getting a kid ever again. And with the hysterectomy done, there was a lot of emotional things going around because of the hormonal drop.
I see. Yeah, what is this? What are the side effects after that? What has changed now?
Okay, one of the first things that hit me is hot flashes.
Oh, yeah. You become menopausal almost immediately.
Immediately. You know, hot, bad hot flashes. In the hospital, I used to almost sleep. Either like, light t-shirt, because I would sweat so much. And then there's something to do with the estrogen going down, and you also went into depression. But my depression wasn't because of the hysterectomy per se. It was because I didn't get what I thought I'd get.
What do you mean?
I thought my problems would be over.
So what happened after? Even I'd imagine after that, was life better or not?
It was more or less the same, then it got worse.
Why? What happened?
Because you see, okay, I told you the doctor who did my hysterectomy didn't check all through.
What? Okay.
So if he had, he'd have seen my endometriosis had already spread to my intestines. So doing a hysterectomy
wasn't solving the problem.
It wouldn't solve any problem other than the bleeding problem.
Wow.
So the bleeding stopped.
But you still had
but
endo.
I still had endo.
Wow.
And because the doctor said the drop in estrogen can be very, very like traumatic for a lady, they left a small part of the ovary in to replace, or rather to like stay on guard.
Balance. Okay.
And he said it can be removed after like 1 year. But no, that small ovary made the endometriosis mushroom like in my intestines completely. It just continued spreading and spreading and spreading.
Hey, Tabitha.
So now I started getting a lot of pain. And it wasn't the kawaida pain. You know, I've gotten used to pain. I can tell you levels of pain.
This one was another level.
Right now, I'm in pain, but it's like level 6. You know, I can scale it to like, if I take painkillers, it goes down, or if it doesn't go down, I go for a shot, I go for IV medication. If it doesn't go down, there's a problem.
So what's the solution now? You thought you figured it out, removing the uterus, but no, it gets worse. What is the solution to
endometriosis?
To finally treat the situation?
Now, see, okay, I was saying I started getting a lot of pain. I was done a scan. It showed the ovary that was left had mushroomed and become very big. So the doctor started worrying about cancer. I was done the cancer test, nothing, everything came negative.
Okay.
Very scary period also.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Then the doctor said, there's no way we are leaving that ovary inside there because you don't know what's happening.
So they took it out.
So they went to take it out. As they were doing the surgery, the ovary had been stuck to my intestines. Going in, he didn't know that. He thought he was going for a simple laparoscopy to remove the ovary. So when he opened, that's when he saw the mess that was inside there. So
was there anything that could be done?
he tried, but in the process, he punctured my intestines. So he had to call in another doctor. And because it took time, because I'm already open, I'm in the surgical table, and my intestines, my guts are spilling out, basically filling my intestinal cavity. So the doctor came in, he did everything he could, but during the recovery process, I got into a very bad infection, went into sepsis, almost died. Had to be done another emergency surgery, and no, the doctor said instead of closing everything up, they do something called a colostomy. I was put a colostomy bag so that they can give time for my intestines to heal. So I had to stay with a colostomy bag for like 3 months. That was in 2019 October.
As you're speaking, I can't believe all this is one person. One, how are you doing now, health-wise? And how did this take a toll on you in every way? Financially, mentally, emotionally? What did this journey do to you, Tabitha? Because for me, on my end, I'm trying to make sense of everything. It's a lot.
Financially, it drained us as a family completely.
I can imagine.
Completely. I'm blessed with a very nice brother who has been like a support system financially completely.
Okay.
But it's drained even him. It's drained. We've had to sell stuff. We've had to take loans. It's been crazy. As a person,
how are you?
Let's say I live one day at a time. I have my son.
You do. You do.
He's an awesome baby. He's one of those cute, awesome babies. Not the ones that bother you.
He's a good baby.
Those ones that when you're sick, he comes and sleeps there and refuses to go and starts giving you medicine so that you can smile. Take mama, take dawa so that you smile.
That's sweet.
He's a sweetheart. I have a very strong mom. She's very strong spiritually, so she has a very big backbone.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have the little friends I have are very supportive. I've had support from people I never thought I'd get support from, because those are many surgeries and that's a lot of money.
Through it all, as we finish, what are you grateful for? If you can find one thing, I always look for that one thing in every situation. What are you still grateful for? And lastly, what is your one prayer as we finish?
I'm grateful if I had the opportunity, and I'm still having the opportunity of being a mom, because many women who have endometriosis get fertility issues. As I've said, they have a group full of women, and most of them don't have kids. It's so unfortunate.
That's true.
So it's a blessing. It's the one thing that I usually pray and tell God, ako ulilifanyia. that was just a miracle in itself. What I'm praying for is we manage to get the finances so that I can go and be done that surgery, because it can't be done in the country, just to be outside. And I really need it, because the way I am right now, I can't eat solid food. I'm vomiting all the time. I'm in constant pain meds 24/7. Because of the finances, I have to inject myself pain medication. I have to inject myself drugs for nausea.
Wow.
It's hard having to see my son see me that week.
Oh, don't call it that.
Because he's always there. I can't chase him. He's always there. So he'll come and start arranging the 2 ampules and then give me one by one. You know, it breaks my heart so many times. It breaks my heart every time I have to lock myself in my bedroom because I'm too weak and I can hear him knocking. And I know I can't open because I really can't handle that. You know, his energy, he's almost turning 4 and he's a boy. So he's super energetic. So there are times I really, even if I wanted to, I can't.
I hope there's a better understanding on what endometriosis is, what it can do to someone physically, emotionally, financially. It takes a toll on many, many women. So let's be more sensitive, more empathetic, and yeah, just be there for one another. Thank you for making time for us. Thank you for watching the show. Thank you to our location, Radisson, for hosting us. Until next week, goodbye and God bless.